Hello guys, NautoAce here, and this is going to be, I guess, to some extent, a lost vlog, but it wasn't really that long. And the reason why I kind of said that was that originally this vlog about Resident Evil 7 demo, my thoughts about it, how it's sort of a brilliant thing what Capcom did, is that I'm supposed to originally do this before the game comes out. Unfortunately, by the time you hear this, the game already came out, so that's the reason why it's sort of a lost vlog. But the thing about this one, I guess you can say, who's it for? This V-Block. Well, if you're sort of thinking about Resident Evil, getting Resident Evil 7, and you're new to the series, yeah, and you're thinking about, oh, I'll get Resident Evil 7, it looks good, then this V-Block kind of give you an idea what the game is. Well, not the game, but the demo. And I'm not a Resident Evil fan that much. Yeah, you do see me play Resident Evil. I can play the game. Not really super fan about it. I mean, the one I really like enjoying playing was Operation Raccoon. Yes, the Gears of War wannabe, different story. But like I said, for people thinking about, oh, I want to get Resident Evil 7, I'm not into Resident Evil, I'm new to it, but I'll start with 7, which I guess you can go with it because that's what Resident Evil is. But if you want to know what's a good start with Resident Evil 7, you might have to find that on Google or YouTube because not the right person to do it. But my recommendation for anybody who starts is play the demo first before buying the game. Try the demo to see if it's really good or not, because it kind of gives you like the background of how the game works. And the demo is actually good, 16 frame if you like it. And is it scary? Well, yes, because I'm going to talk about what they did on the PlayStation version of the demo. In the Xbox and PC, they already have the full demo. But what I did with the PlayStation was kind of interesting, but then that's on the main video. But I highly recommend playing that. And spoiler here, but I think you probably want to do this, is that there is actually a riddle puzzle part in the demo. There is a puzzle, I will be talking about that on the demo part. But if you complete the demo, you get this one item that you can bring in on the main game. What it is, I have no idea. Probably Google it now because again the game's already out. So with that, here's sort of I guess like I should say a past due vlog on my thoughts on Resident Evil 7 demo. Hello guys, not to waste here, and I want to give my thoughts on the pre Resident Evil 7. So what does that mean? Basically, I'm not a Resident Evil fan. I mean, I do play the game. I have to because of my friend. He begs me for it. Yes, he's a he. Excuse me. But the thing that's interesting was the Resident Evil 7 beginning hour demo. But Resident Evil 7 itself, the story is interesting. Gameplay wise for me, first person shooter, I'm probably not going to last long. I'm probably going to puke because I'm not good with first person shooters. Well, first person adventure, I don't know. But anything that's first person basically for me, I can't really last long, but that's just me. But the story is interesting because for people who's Resident Evil fan, they might say, well, is it related to the previous game? Well, they're not normal. Let's just say that there's something about them. And again, it's a mansion just like the first game. And but I'm not gonna talk about the main game because it's not even out until 2017. I know a lot of people are gonna play it. I'll probably watch YouTube about it because I think that story is interesting. Which is they already said the basic premises. You play as Ethan Winters. You're looking for your wife. For 3 years, he thought his wife died, and they found out that his wife is somewhere in this place in Louisiana. I think they call it Dunleaville, Louisiana. It's a fictional city, and there's this mansion, a rundown mansion, and then of course who lives there is the Baker's family. And of course they're not normal, so a lot of people would think, hey, maybe it has something to do with viruses. Maybe they have virus in them. Maybe they got Las Plagas in them. Who knows? Because they're not normal. I mean, if you've seen the trailer, Jack Baker, the dad, he gets on fire. He's still moving. Ethan Walker, one of the demos showed that he shot him in the head. Up, he went back up. So think of the Bakers as the nemesis. You can't kill the nemesis until the very end. So I'm gonna get the same deal with the Baker. So that's an interesting story there for Resident Evil 7. Again, not really a fan of the Resident Evil franchise story. It's a little bit it comes and goes. Some are good, some are not. Yeah, it's Resident Evil. But this one might be interesting because it's a lot of a Western culture in it. Again, you know, you got a country family. I guess I'm just gonna say that. And like I said, it is gonna be interesting because they're gonna be like the nemesis, like in Resident Evil 3. But the thing I really want to talk about is the brilliance of the demo, especially if you have a PlayStation 4. Sadly, if you have an Xbox One or the PC, they are gonna get the demo, but it's the midnight version or the whole shebang. What they did with Resident Evil for the PlayStation 4 is, well, if you have the PlayStation 4 Plus during E3 2016, is you get, they call it the beginning hour, the version, or the early version, I guess. And you really can't do anything about it. There's a lot of item, no one knows what it is, people are complaining. And then later on, there was called the Twilight version, which is an update to the demo that opened up a new area. And then, just during the PlayStation experience last week, they finally opened up the full potential of the demo, the full update. They call it the midnight version. And all the thing that you've been gathering, it's like, what's this for? I don't get it. It finally comes to fruition. I have to say, that was actually brilliant. So the first version of the demo for the PS4 came out during E3 2016 when they announced Resident Evil 7 coming 2017 for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. What about the Switch? Who knows? But the brilliant is right now the demo was a PS4 exclusive, plus exclusive, and like I said, they call it. I guess I can call it just the beginning hour demo. And what it is basically you just see the mechanic, how it works, and how the graphic is, and of course the game, believe it or not, is in 60 frame. Horror games in 60 frame, kind of for me personally gives me the heebie-jeebies. I played Resident Evil 4 for the PS4, and oh boy, man, I was like, ugh, man, this is so creepy. It's weird, it's so realistic. I know it's not, but better texture and the motion at 60 frames per second. Oh my gosh, it's just somehow I managed to finish the game, but excuse me, but ugh, oh boy, especially Resident Evil 7, even with that first demo, ugh, it just gave me the heebie-jeebies. So basically, again, at this point, it's probably going to be spoiler territory. So if you have not yet played the demo, you don't want to know about the Resident Evil 7 demo beginning hours, then you might just want to click back now for this one. I want to give my thoughts about it, the basically premise, like it's how brilliant it is. So with that, here's my countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the first version was basically the objective of the game is get out of the house. That's basically it. So you start out inside somewhere in the house. I guess I'm guessing the living room, and you figure out what's going on. You interact with whatever. So you go around. You basically just explore on that weird, scary, creepy house. Interact with the stuff, even in the kitchen, because believe it or not, in Morpheus there was a tech demo called Kitchen. That's basically what it is. Kitchen is basically part of Resident Evil 7, because the reason it's kitchen because you're in the kitchen, but there is a kitchen. In the kitchen part, there's a lot of interactive you can do. And then you see this cupboard with chains, so you can't open it. But if you go to the end, to the back door, there's a door there, but it's locked. And remember, the objective of the game is just trying to get out of the house. So you find the bolt cutter, the metal cutter. I guess you call it the bolt cutter. You bolt cutter the chain in the cupboard. You get the VHS. Yes, a VHS. And then you go back to the room because there's a VCR. And the hint there is that you start hearing the VCR or the TV static sound. So basically you have to go there. You play it. And basically what it is you play this video that takes place 6 months prior to where you're at, And there are three people. They're a kind of like what Chris Moore's doing now. Paranoia. Excuse, I don't know what to say. A ghost story. Let's just say a ghost scary story. So they went to this house, the same house that you're in it, but this is basically 6 months ago. And the interesting part is that you take control of the cameraman by the name of Clancy, the host Pete, and then of course his producer Andre. Basically, 10 in the evening, they had guts, and they basically explored the home. And here's the interesting part here that if you listen carefully about the house, it actually belongs to the Bakers. Andre basically explained about this house, and he basically said, yeah, 6 months ago there's a family called the Bakers that live here. Jack, which is the dad, Margaret, his wife, and they also said their basically crazy son, Lucas. And going a bit forward, there is a trailer, like a second trailer for Resident Evil 7. You do get to see those three. You see Jack, you see his wife Margaret, and then Lucas, the guy who's wearing a hood, it's like their kid. And you kind of hear it because you hear the name. Like at one point when Lucas threw the ball with the main character, Margaret said, "Oh, Lucas." So that's an interesting part. And it kind of introduced the premise, basically about the Baker's family. So that's basically the video. But of course, in the end, what happened was Andrew decided to explore deeper, and they disappeared. Pete and Clancy trying to look for them. They found a secret passage in the living room that opened up a trap door. You go inside, you go down the trap door, and then you see, well, Andre got killed. Clancy fell down, and then, like a fleet second, you get to see someone's boots, and then you just hear Clancy getting beat up. Go back to real time. You suddenly get a note said in blood, like something about you're dead. You find out that there's a hidden door. You open that, get the key, and you go to the back door. And then you say, yes, finally, I get to escape. Sadly, you don't. Because prior to getting to the back door key, when you trying to get out, you see Jack Baker. Then he disappears. You don't know what's going on, but you see the guy. He's like the nemesis. You can't kill this guy for whatever reason. Trying to escape, he grabs you from the back and punches you, and he basically says his line, "Welcome to the family, son." So that's basically the premise. But throughout that demo, the first demo, you get certain things. And one of the items that people got, but they said, what do you do with this dummy figure? I don't get it. What are you supposed to do? And to a point that they really were getting, well, upset. Like, what's this dummy figure? Please tell us a secret. And of course, Capcom people who work on Resident Evil 7 said, well, it's a secret to everyone. You just have to stay tuned. So for a while, people were like, what is this dummy finger? Because it's like they're intrigued, but they don't know what to do with it. They're trying to figure ways. But again, remember, the demo is incomplete. And the Easter egg in that one is when you play it again and you start opening the trapdoor for the get-go, there's a fuse. You put that fuse on the fuse box, you're able to go to the attic. Same thing, you don't know what's going on. You go to this one room, it has an Easter egg, there's a picture and a phone. You look at the picture, it's a helicopter with the umbrella logo. And it basically just said in the back, where they are watching us from above. So what does that mean? I'm guessing in that house, and there's a chopper monitoring Jack Baker's by Umbrella. Maybe Umbrella's back. Who knows? And then there's a phone. You pick up the phone conversation. It gives you sort of like a hint of what's the next update for the game. Yes, it is sort of an update. So again, basically they're telling you it's all in the game. It's not real, and you're not really the main character. And that's the spoiler part. Is that the premise of Resident Evil 7 is you play as Ethan Winters looking for his wife. In tape 3, they basically tell you the premise. Ethan Winters basically said, I'll tell the premise, but it's Ethan Winters. But you'll find out that the main character in the demo is not Ethan Winters. That's the thing. It's not. And then also that it's not the mansion. It's some house somehow attached to the mansion. That's the thing. You're not Ethan Winters. You're just some random, nameless protagonists for this demo. So that's basically the first one. Then later on, September 2016, during the Tokyo Game Show, they showed Tape 2. Then you introduced the Baker family. That's what Andre was talking about. And there were some areas that opened up. So the second update, or the first update, is called the Twilight version, which is basically now a little bit of the house opened up. Oh, excuse me. And the part that opened up is that if you go to the secret room, the Easter egg room from the first one, there is a wall that broke down. And the hint is, when you try to go back there from the get-go, you hear like some rumbling sound and then some pieces falling down. You go there, there's a new doorway. That's basically it. So you go to that new area in the attic, and then you'll see some things. There was some writing and there's some items. First of all, ammo. So you know there's gonna be a gun somewhere in the house. But again, this is the Twilight demo, and I'll explain more. You get ammos, more ammo, and then you get a basement key. Fine. So that means the house has there's a basement. But at this point on, you still can't go to the basement, and I'll explain that later. But then there is a second item that relates to the dummy finger. They call it the celluloid head. Celluloid head, basically you attach the dummy finger, now it's like a finger pointing. But the question is, what is it for? Once again, no one knows what it is. So at this point on, no one really knows what the celluloid head is. Miles 93 trying to figure it out. He's like, this is nothing, this is ridiculous. So basically this extra room, basically, that's ammo, the celluloid hand, and you notice there's a ladder there's a window you can escape. Sadly, you need the attic key. Where do you find it? Well, sadly, in the Twilight version, you don't. And you also know that there is a door. You can't open it yet, because again, no one knows what it is. You can't go in. You can't open the door. It's locked. And then you see this writing in riddles on the board, written in blood, talking about 5 murders. Again, really, you can't really understand what's going on. There's really nothing you can do. That's basically what the Twilight version is. So, basically the whole point of the Twilight is to explore the new area, and then all suddenly the phone rings. And then, basically just like before, when you talk to someone, you talk to this person once again, but it's a different conversation. The lady basically now talks about, oh, so how are you? How are you doing? And then the guy's like, what's going on? I don't get it. And then the lady said, yeah, all doors are meant to be open. See, that's a keyword, doors. But as of right now, the doors are locked. And the reason why that is that the Twilight version is still not complete. There are areas that have not been opened because the doors are locked. That's what the lady was saying, that for now the door has to be closed until the latest update. And there are minor changes from the original to the Twilight, such as there's a picture has changed, and one of the keywords is one of the locked door. All of a sudden now it's covered by mold. So why? No one knows really yet what's the deal with the mold. And a little bit of Easter egg about that moldy door is if you wait like a couple of minutes, you hear some like rumbling, like someone's trying to break through the door. So like, makes you jump. Kind of like what's her name? Oh my gosh. That lady from PT, the ghost lady that people freaked out. You pass by the bathroom, you just hear like a loud knock. Lisa, that's her name, Lisa. So this is the same thing. And then if you wait a couple of more minutes, you hear like some roaring sound. Like, well, what is it? Like a monster behind this door? But remember, that door is closed in the Twilight version. So the only new ending basically is the same as the Easter egg ending. Different conversation. They're just saying, hey, the doors are closed for now until December, during the PlayStation Experience, December the 4th, is when they release the midnight version. So yeah, the midnight version finally came during the PlayStation Experience, along with another trailer titled Tape 3. And prior to that, there's also 10 mini teaser trailer what the game is. From combat, herb, item, puzzle, a new enemy. Yes, there's actually a new enemy. People call them the mold monster. And if you notice, the door was moldy. I'll explain that later. And one of the most interesting another character was introduced is Aunt Rudy. No one really knows who Aunt Rudy is and what's her connection with the Bakers. But the deal is that, well, she's the practic old lady that sings. But when you start looking at her, she stops singing. You turn away, she starts singing. So, and no one knows what's going on. I mean, people even try to shoot her, nothing happens. So maybe there's a story about who she is. I mean, there's the Baker's probably more than just them. Remember, not only has Jack, Margaret, and Lucas and Aunt Rudy, there's a little girl. That's one. And then second, if you watch the kitchen demo, you kind of saw a young female kid, a female girl, or girl, a girl. No one knows what's her deal. Maybe she's also Baker's. So yeah, I'll explain more about the kitchen demo, about the story now, when it's connected to Resident Evil 7 Beginning Sour. So if you see those trailers, you can understand what the concept of Resident Evil 7. Then finally, the midnight trailer. Everything's open. All the areas open. All the item. Now it's coming to fruition. Now you'll understand what it is. So, of course, there's the backdoor ending, which is you trying to go to the back door, you failed. One thing is that they got rid of the phone ending. You can't. The phone's not going to ring this time around, but there's still a new ending. And that is the key is for this midnight trailer is to get the attic key. The door with the mold, now it's open. A new area that leads to the basement. Remember, there's a basement key in the attic. So opposite to that is you get the attic key in the basement. So you go to the basement and you actually get to encounter one of this monster, the mold monster. And it depends on how you approach it. Now, just remember in the beginning there was an axe, but people didn't understand what the axe is for. Now you know. Melee combat, the mold monster. You can also get the gun if you're like, well, if you're fast enough, because here's a spoiler: the gun is in the toilet. You need the valve. The valve is in the basement. The minute you get the valve, you're trying to go back out. Jack trying to block your way, and then all suddenly the mold monster comes in. What do? So there's a lot of strategy there. So if you have the axe, you can combat it. They said one of the hints is use the body back in the middle, hit the monster with it. He'll be stunned for a while. Then just jam the X button, keep kicking it until it opens, and you ran away. Just run away like crazy. Put the valve in the pipe, fix it, flush the toilet. You finally get your gun, you got your ammo. There you go. Now you know there's an ammo, therefore there should be a gun. There you go. You can come back, trying to fight the mold monster. And it depends how good you are or not, is that the mold monster can actually bite you. And if it bites you, let's just say you get a bad ending, manage to not get bite, hey, you get the good ending. Yeah. So the infected ending basically, or the outcome is when you're not good enough to defend yourself against the mold monster and you get bitten. So say you get bitten but you manage to kill it, good, able to get the attic key, now home free, because you can't escape the back door because, well, Jack Baker's gonna punch you, so the only way is the attic. But if you're infected, the sadly part is when you go first, trying to get out of the new area, you notice your hand starting to shake and it turns black, turns icky. Then trying to get up to the attic to open the attic, couldn't even do it because you're starting to get full infected. You basically become a mold monster. And then Jack basically said, well, you're not really worthy enough. Yep, well, sadly the infected ending means he became a mold monster. So it's now, because basically rumor has it that the people who basically got killed or didn't survive they become mold monsters. That's what the lore in Resident Evil, that's the rumor is saying. No one really knows shit. So the opposite of that is they call it the true ending, which basically is somehow you manage not to get infected by the mold monster and you escape the attic. And basically what happens here, the ending is you manage to escape, but sadly enough, the ending basically explained that you reported the police. Sadly, there was no report whatsoever on what's going on. There was no evidence. There was nothing when they searched the house. Jack Baker disappeared. The mold monster disappeared. And they just concluded that the player character is high on LSD. So basically none of it really happened. It's all in his head. And well, yeah. The thing is, remember, this is the demo that preludes to the main game. It has nothing to do with the main game. Only a lot of reference to Resident Evil 7. Again, like I said, the player you play in the demo is not Ethan Walker or Ethan Winters. It's some guy who's somehow trapped. He was the first ever person, if you get the true ending, to escape the Baker's house. And the shocker is that it's not the real mansion. Like I said, it's part of the mansion probably. They searched the house and nothing. So I mean, even if you got that VHS you have, they said like, it was nothing. There was no evidence in the tape. It's make believe. So that's basically, I mean, that's a true ending that no one believed you. So now, surprisingly, this game, Resident Evil, is known for also puzzle. The game demo actually had a puzzle. I don't know how people figured it out. Heck, I guess these are the same people who figured out how to find the ending for PT, which is Silent Hill. So hey, who knows? So basically, I saw some YouTube video. I know I cheated, but like I said, I'm not really a Resident Evil 7 fan. It was brilliant. This is the brilliant part. So you found the dummy finger. You don't know what it is. You combine it with the celluloid hand. Again, you don't know what it is. During your exploration in the house, you find this notebook. So that's a keyword. There's a blank notebook. Again, you sort of like you don't know what's going on. However, if you have the celluloid finger, celluloid hand, and the black notebook, you combine the finger with the hand, and you read the blood text. Somehow, your book actually gives you the first hint, and there's a door, another one that's supposed to be locked. Well, it's still locked, but if you look at it, there's blood. So this is the other part of the demo that people were shocked. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't know who I would think you have to do it. So there are 5 puzzles. Well, basically the story is there were 5 murder in a particular house, and you have to find them where they are, like how they died. And that's where the dummy finger and the hand comes in. You gotta point to the area that they died, and then something happens. Some eerie thing happened. And then all suddenly you hear some noise. You see some screaming. And while you're doing that, the door has bloody handprints, basically telling you that you're progressing through the puzzle part. And it's not just easy. I mean, it's not that hard either, but you have to really think. And the key word also is that you also have to basically watch the tape. And remember, there's also, I forgot to mention, is that during the tape, you see this ghost girl randomly. When you're doing it first in the original demo, you don't know why she's there. You don't know what's going on. Now there is something, because one of the puzzles has related to the ghost girl, and you look at this puzzle, and then you hear like a giggle. And that's saying if you did it right, you hear a giggle, and there you go. So I'm not going to explain what the puzzle is, but it is very complex, but not too hard. I would suggest listen to the YouTube. Hey, there you go. But in the end, so the question is, okay, I did this puzzle, kind of tricky. What did I get? So the door finally gets open. There's a rocking chair that says, "Best, you're the best ever," which basically means that you figured out the puzzle. And there's a dirty coin. Now you might say, "Oh my gosh, it's like the finger, it's a hand, a notebook. What is this? I don't get it. What's with the dirty coin?" Well, take the dirty coin in inventory, exit with the true ending. After the true ending explanation, they'll say, "Oh, you managed to get this dirty coin, save it, and use it for the main game." There you go. That's your reward is you get an item from the demo that you can be used in the main game. What is it? Well, no one knows until the game comes out January 24th, 2017. So finally, that's why I'm saying about the brilliance of the demo. They did it in three-parter. They giving a snippet until the finally midnight when they open everything. It gives you, oh, that's why you needed the notebook. I understand why this writing. I understand why a lot of this, like in the house itself, were creepy looking because it's a story of 5 murders in the house and the dummy finger. And of course, the keys, there's the attic, there's basement. Yeah, everything. So it's so brilliant there. Really, really brilliant. That basically tells a pre-story of Resident Evil 7. So again, if you're a fan of it, of course you do it. Am I going to do it? Maybe in the long run, because right now I'm not really playing on the Resident Evil game, but so yeah, that's my thoughts on Resident Evil 7. The demo I think is really brilliant. So if you're a fan, you should try it out. Xbox coming soon along with the PC version. Yeah, so with that.